Hello everyone, welcome back. In previous lecture we had discussed the round robin scheduling and we have seen how the time quantum is allocated to each of the process to create the circular list so that every process will get a one time quantum each. And we have also seen that the two methods of implementing this round robin scheduling. In this lecture, we will understand how we can prepare the Gantt chart on round robin scheduling algorithm and how we can calculate the turnaround time and waiting time of the process. Now let us consider this table. So in this table, we have three processes and their burst time is also mentioned, and also we have 4 nanosecond of time quantum, right? So 4 nanosecond of time quantum. So based on this round robin scheduling, let us prepare the Gantt chart. So this is the Gantt chart and the time line. Now each time quantum is allocated to each of the process P1, P2, P3. So now we are allocating each time quantum, means P1 will get one time quantum of 4 nanosecond. Thereafter, so it will be printed and it will be put into the ready queue, and the next time quantum is allocated to P2. So within the 4 nanosecond it is completing its execution because the burst time of the P2 is 3 nanosecond. Similarly, the next time quantum which is allocated to P3, it is also completing its burst time within the time quantum because the burst time of the process is the less than the time quantum. So hence both the P2, P3 are terminated, or we can say normally it is terminated. So after that, the next time quantum is allocated to P1 because the first time quantum, when the P1 gets, it completes its 4 nanosecond of burst time. So 24 minus 4 is equals to 20. So 20 nanosecond is the remaining time of the P1 process. Okay. So therefore, after this, all the time quantums, right, are allocated to P1 since there is no other process in the CPU. So CPU will allocate its time quantum to P1 until it's complete its entire burst time. So remaining burst time is the 20, right? So therefore it is getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 time quantums. So 5 into 4, 20, 20 millisecond. So it will complete 20 millisecond or nanosecond of burst time, right? And it exit at 30th nanosecond. So this is the Gantt chart we have prepared on round robin scheduling algorithm based on the time quantum, right? So 4 nanosecond is the time quantum. Now this Gantt chart we prepared, and this is the timeline, right? So based on this, we will prepare the turnaround time and waiting time. So to calculate the turnaround time, we have the formula: turnaround time equals to completion time minus arrival time, right? So let us first understand this turnaround time. So here we have calculated the turnaround time based on this formula, right? Before that, we will understand the completion time. Completion time means the process completes its burst time. So P1 is completing its burst time at 13th nanosecond. So 30 nanosecond is the completion time of P1. Similarly, P2 is completing its execution at 7th nanosecond. So 7 is the completion time of P2. Similarly, P3 is completing its execution at 10th nanosecond. So 10 is the completion time of P3, right? So these are the completion time. So based on these completion times, let us calculate the turnaround time, completion time minus arrival time. So as we said that in the previous slide, all the processes are arriving at 0 nanosecond, right? So let us have the table: 0 nanosecond. So arrival time is 0. Okay, completion time is, already we have completion time, right? So just put zeros here as a arrival time of these processes. So 30 minus 0 is the 30 is the turnaround time, 7 minus 0 is the 7 turnaround time, 10 minus 0 is the 10 is the turnaround time of P1, P2, P3 processes respectively. Now based on these formula we have prepared and we have calculated turnaround time. Let us go to waiting time. Now waiting time is equals to turnaround time. So we have already got the turnaround time, right? 30, 7, 10 minus burst time. So burst time already we have in the table, right? So 2433 is the burst time. Now take the turnaround time, that is 30, minus burst time is 24, equals to 6, right? Similarly 7 minus 0, that is 7, 7 is the turnaround time, 7 minus 3, so this 3 is the burst time, okay, equals to 4, 4 is the waiting time. Next P3 has a 3 nanosecond of burst time, so waiting turnaround time is a 10, 10 minus 3 is a 7, 7 is the waiting time. Even though from the Gantt chart also we can understand how much time these processes are waiting. So this P1 process is waited for 6 nanosecond. So how does we calculate? So already P1 has got the first time quantum, so we have to start from this 4 nanosecond to 10 nanosecond. How much time? 6 nanosecond. So 6 nanosecond the P1 has not got any time quantum, so it is waiting for only 6 nanosecond, right? So P2 is waiting for 4 nanosecond because the first time quantum is allocated to P1. So P2 is entering at 4 nanosecond, so its waiting period or the time from 0 nanosecond to 4 nanosecond. So total waiting time of the P2 is the 4 nanosecond, and P3 is waiting till 7 nanosecond. So hence the 7 is the waiting time of the P3 process. This is how we can calculate. Now let us come to calculate the waiting time, right, and understand the average waiting time and average turnaround time. So there is another formula, that is waiting time equals to last start time minus arrival time minus preemption into time quantum. So based on this formula we have prepared and we are getting the same waiting time, right? 6, 4, 7, right? So 26 is the last time of the arrival. So let us just go back a last time of arrival. Last time of arrival means this is the 26th nanosecond the P1 is arriving last time. So that is the 26 value. Minus 0, 0 is the arrival time, right? Minus 5 into 4. So what is 5? So 5 is the preemption. So preemption means, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all the time quantums is allocated to this P1. So it P1 is preempted these 5 time quantums. So hence we are taking the preemption as 5 into 4. What is 4? 4 is the time quantum, 4 nanosecond, right? So 5 into 4, that is 20, right? 26 minus 20, 6. Similarly 0 into 4, 0, 0 into 4, 0. So 4 minus 0 is 4, 7 minus 0 is 7. So how to calculate the average turnaround time, right? Average turnaround time 37 plus 10. So we have already calculated. So 30, this is the completion time, this is the turnaround time. So turnaround time is 37 and 10, right? So 37 and 10 is the turnaround time divided by 3. So 47 divided by 3 is the 15.66 nanosecond or millisecond is the time for the average turnaround time of these three processes. Similarly, we can calculate the average waiting time, that is 6 plus 4 plus 7, right? So this is the waiting time. In this table only you can get it all the values. 6 plus 4 plus 7. Total is 17. 17 is divided by 3. 5.66 nanosecond or millisecond is the average waiting time of these three processes. So this is all about round robin scheduling. Hope you understood how to prepare the Gantt chart. Each time quantum is allocated to each process in first come first serve basis, and again whichever the process need extra burst time, whatever the time quantum is allocated within that time quantum, if it doesn't complete its burst time, so it can be put into the ready queue of the tail, right? And again it that process gets a time quantum. So this is how you can calculate average turnaround time, average waiting time in the round robin scheduling algorithm. So hope you understood this concept. In the next lecture, we will come up with another example on round robin scheduling. So thank you for watching.